Hello, hello.
There we go. There we go. Oh, what a really good week for some people it's been, and not so good for others. How are we, folks? It's week 17 of the Audible. Some of us are a little bit more delicate than others. Gents, how are we? What's been going on?
Yeah, all good. It's been a lot of just Christmassy stuff, seeing family. I've eaten too many roasts already this week, and it's what, Tuesday?
Like, what's the one thing that has to be on a roast dinner? Like, I want some comments on this as well. What's the one thing you need on your roast dinner? I'll go
Oh,
first. Pigs in blanket.
oh, pigs and blanket is good.
Lee,
I think Lee's quiet again.
Lee, you're quiet. Oh, mate.
Oh, there we go.
Mate.
Sorry, man. I keeps walking on the bloody laptop. I think he's muting it.
Did you just blame yourself being quiet on your pussy?
I did indeed. I did
Let's go.
indeed.
On we go. We're still PG. And we go.
I was about to say you're saying pigs and is a must. I think that's a bit of a luxury. I mean, for me,
Work
I mean
hard.
the most important.
Work hard. Play harder.
Oh. I think you know you've got to have a good gravy.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
you've got to have a good gravy.
Correct.
I think that's if you haven't got a good gravy game, you haven't got a good roast on my
Yeah, 100%. None of this instant gravy. Probably made gravy with the meat and the bones and all the stock left over from whatever meat you cook in.
Yeah.
I don't know. If it's a Christmas dinner, I do love a cauliflower cheese on there.
Right.
I wouldn't have it every Sunday, but
No, I'm done with this topic now. Lee, what have you been up to?
I've obviously been doing my panto. I've done 6 shows in 4 days, so I'm the delicate one.
Brilliant.
But yeah, I mean, it was great. The performances were great. It's the first time I've done panto. I've done lots of singing in the past, but this is the first panto I've ever done. So
Would you do it again?
I don't think people really. Oh, I have. The directors already roped me into Wizard of Oz next year.
Oh,
So
mate, that'd be brilliant.
a laugh. Who
Yeah.
have they got an idea who you might play in though?
He's gonna be the lion. He's totally gonna be that lion. or the Tin Man. And we've been playing American football. We've all done the Tin Man thing 2 days after our first training session, so gotta be.
I don't know. He did tell me there's lots of singing involved because I think they realised that I'm actually a quite decent singer, so they're going to give me a role.
Got our very own
Jason
Kelsey going on over here.
Oh yeah.
I'm not saying nothing. Well, I've just come back from a wedding and I've been to Birmingham Christmas market, which was pretty cool. I've been doing my Grinch stuff, but I think I've got my final 6K, which I'm doing on Christmas Eve, and we're nearly at the target that we want to raise for the lovely girl we work with. So yeah, all good.
Nice.
But
that's amazing.
in other news, shall we get to it?
Yeah,
let's do it.
So, lock in your fantasy football teams. Patricia Kelly, hi to you too. Lock in your fantasy football teams if you're in the playoffs, because it's playoff time, right, for the fantasy football teams. And I'm in it in one league. The others. Are you guys? Did you get any teams in the playoffs?
I got 2 through, and I've just been kicked out of the semi-finals and one. So it's the finals this week.
Correct, what about?
I'm in the finals.
No, I'm all over the place. I'm in a toilet bowl in one league, and I'm in the consolation bracket in our league, and I'm in a 32 team. What's it called? A league where you keep your team and you have to like draft a few players every year. And I sort of landed in the middle of the table, so I didn't get anywhere. I think I finished 8th in the AFC side, so I didn't get playoffs or consolation. I'm just sort of just watching the playoffs from the side.
I'm not doing that bad in our league. That this week is a bye week, which I actually won. That's what you do if you finish bottom. Right, let's get to it. So week 16, there was some shocking results. There were some great results, some brilliant games, and we're going to start off with an absolute belter of a game. Seahawks Rams. 60% of the public backed the Rams, as well as Lee and Steve. And guess what? You're all wrong. 40% of the public and myself backed the Seahawks to win, and this was just a brilliant game of football. This was any neutral would have loved this game, except for us because we don't like staying until after clock to watch it. Lee, now you're back. Give us your thoughts on this one, mate.
Oh, I think this was a game of offense, really, wasn't it? This was
Game of the week.
Two fantastic offenses going at it. I don't think the defenses were prepared for what was coming. Puka Nacua and Jackson Smith and Jigba having two outstanding games.
Yeah.
And both quarterbacks just slinging the ball down the field. It was absolutely fantastic to watch. Am I shocked the Seahawks won? No. I think, obviously being the home crowd, I think it was expected. Fair play to them. They've made it interesting for that number 1 seed, haven't they? Really?
Yeah.
So,
very, and I like that. You made a comment earlier on in the season about you didn't mind the Eagles' first loss because you didn't want to carry such a big undefeated. Do you get what I mean? The longer you go undefeated for,
it's the burden, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. There's no burden on them. So, look, it's not been the ideal thing. There could have been a few things better on both, defense and offense because there would have been, they got beat at the end of the day. I'm talking about the Rams here, but I think the next few weeks you'll get a better result out of them, definitely.
Yeah.
Steve, what were your thoughts on this one, mate?
Yeah, very, very similar. Again, as an ex-defensive player, for me, I really do like watching defensive games, but this was like watching two people play Madden on like sort of beginner or arcade mode. But
me,
it's fun to watch.
Still getting beat.
But for me, it was that weird two-point conversion at the end. I still don't know what happened. That ball was bouncing around, it ended in the end zone, someone picked it up. I was just like, surely that's not going to count. It counted. I was like, I don't know what's happening anymore. It was a very entertaining way to win a game at the end. But as it's just very much what Lee's saying, it was two offenses going at each other.
I love that comment by Coach Russ. How them Jags.
Let me just click block. Done. Right. Yeah, let's move on to the next one. Really interesting game, this one. Eagles against Commanders. Now, it was 29-18, but for a lot of that game, it wasn't as big as the score difference says. But Eagles got that win. Very much needed win. 80% of the public, myself and Lee, backed the Eagles. Steve, you picked the Commanders. Whatever drugs you were on, clearly not great at so far, mate. You're, 0 out of 2. But no, 29-18 to the Eagles. Eagles, upping it up on the offense. There's obviously been a bit of criticism recently. I don't think it's warranted because when you get to the playoffs, you just turn into a complete different team. What are your thoughts on this one, Steve?
Yeah, it's very much like the Commanders have been awful, and it was sort of it was going to be automatic for the Eagles. The only reason I chose the Commanders was simply, and me and Cameron both said it last week, that Marcus Mariota seems to have one game a season where he just does something wild. And I sort of just went, maybe this game. It just wasn't this game. But there's not a lot to say about it. The Commanders are just... it's going to come up several times this week, but I am fed up with the teams who have lost everything and are eliminated, sort of just clearly giving up and not putting any fight in, even in divisional games.
I think there's been some... There's one team who's not been fighting, but I think the Raiders give a good account of themselves against the Texans 23-21. We'll get into that later.
Yeah.
I do get where you're coming from, though, mate. I agree. Let's go to Lee before we move on.
Yeah, I mean, this was a good game. It was fun to watch. I was a little bit nervous because, pretty much like how you feel with the Broncos against the Raiders, Matteo. It's
Your
sometimes
those
they're the bogey team, and sometimes you just feel a little bit nervous playing these teams. And with the ball being turned over on the opening return, it was a bit nerve wracking.
Yeah,
I don't think there's any.
Okay,
I think as everyone saying with Kevin Patullo with the offense, that's where the problem lies. I don't think he's scheming up the offense as well as he could be, and I think that's where the problem is. Hopefully, we continue this momentum that we've got. We've got a big old game coming up this weekend. We'll talk about that later. But we've got the return leg of Washington. So getting into, we're in the playoffs. We've got the number 1 seed. What can we do in the playoffs is going to be interesting, and how we perform in the playoffs. But yeah, I mean, overall, the game itself was good. Obviously, we put the points up, and we managed to get Tanner McKee back on the field to finish the game out with a load of second string guys. So it was a decent game in the end.
Yeah, no, you won't find a part of me disagreeing. You're third in your standings, and in the whole picture of it at the moment. Seahawks have got we'll have the bye week essentially in your set, but there's some good teams in yours. Some really, I wouldn't want to play the Bears at the moment. I think they look brilliant, and yeah, there's going to be some. It's going to be an interesting end to the season. Talk about the Bears. Let's move on to this one, actually. This was a split vote of 50-50 with the public, the Bears against the Packers. Now, I've got it down here as myself, Lee, and Steve picked the Bears. But if you all can recall correctly, last week on the call, Steve picked the Packers.
Yep, I did.
And we had a little change of mind. I think you made the right decision there, mate. But 22-16, it was a brilliant game. And for me, there were shades of really, really good here in terms of how, if they're on the A game, both of these teams could literally go all the way. But really good game. Steve, I want to know what you think about this one, mate.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was a really, really good game. Just there's something about the Bears in the fourth quarter at the minute. They're not amazing. Like it was a very close game for a while, and then it was sort of just fight for fight, and then they were behind for a bit, and then Caleb Williams just decides, oh, it's time to play. It was like watching this season, like watching the Bears is like watching Mahomes in his second or third season at the Chiefs. He just likes being behind and just doing it all in the fourth quarter. I think the Packers will missing Micah Parsons more than they thought they were going to. And just, bringing it home at the fourth and then winning it in overtime. I can imagine Cameron, who was on last week, was sat crying at home when it happened. Or that big talk on the podcast the week before.
Yeah, Lee, I do agree with what you're saying there, mate. But Lee, I want to know what your thoughts are on this one, mate.
Do you know what? I've yet to watch this game, but I mean, from what I've seen from the stats, the better team did win.
Yeah.
As Steve said, they are a little bit light on the defensive end side of the ball, and with to have a Super Bowl winning team, you need to have a good edge rusher, and Michael Parsons was going to be that guy to do it and to get them over that edge, over the hump. And now they've lost him. I think that the defensive line has taken a massive hit, and I think that is shown in their quality of game that they've just performed.
Yeah, 100%.
We've got a comment there.
Turnovers kill the Packers. Yeah, I haven't watched the game yet, so I'll take your word for it, Coach.
Have you still got his jersey?
Yeah, I've still got his jersey. Still in my car, mate. I just haven't seen him yet, so.
Fair. Right. Next game, Cowboys and Chargers. FYI, all three of us got that right with the Bears. 3 out of 3 so far. Doing all right here. Next up, we had the Chargers against the Cowboys. I thought this was a pretty terrible game. Chargers won 34-17. Myself and Lee backed the Chargers. Steve, why did you back the Cowboys, mate?
Because if you remember last week, as soon as the Chiefs were eliminated, I didn't watch any more football, and I decided to be bitter all week. So I was like,
"Yes, you're telling me." Yes, folks, I'm posting them out a dummy, just so some of you are aware. A big dummy. Okay, right. Well, Lee, I'm going to go to you on this one, mate. Oh, hang on, wait there. Before I do that, apparently
he's saying I'm going to wear his jersey on Christmas Day. No, mate, it's going to stay in the toilet where I can wipe my backside.
Wow.
If you could feel like Christmas fire.
Do you know what? I did catch this game between Chargers and Dallas, and you know, they've got a fantastic wide receiver in Pickens, haven't they? They've got an absolutely trailblazer of a wide receiver. It's just a shame the rest of the team isn't quite singing on the same song sheet, really. And they've just been absolutely dominated by a fantastic Chargers team. Justin Herbert and Harbaugh and all the other Chargers have just absolutely stomped the NFC East this year. I think they've swept the whole NFC East, so they've done amazing. And they're obviously chasing the Broncos. I think if Broncos would have won out against the Jags, then it would have been game over. But
there's now a chance as well. So that's what will keep.
You've left the door open for them, and I think they're sniffing at it, going, we actually could do this. So I think they're gonna try and win out for the rest of the season.
What's funny for me on this as well with the Chargers? So I mean, they reckoned that was Herbert's best game in a long time, and it was a very good game for him. But if the Broncos lose both the next games and the Chargers, if you get one win in the next 2 games, which we're gonna get there, the Chargers, and if they beat you in the last week, they can sweep our entire division and still be a wild card position.
Yeah,
which is insane. How do you sweep a division and not win the division?
We'll get to the Broncos later, but for me, I think because the Chargers have had major injuries this season.
All O-line, isn't it, mostly, and just all sorts.
Yeah. I think for the position that they're in, I think that's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
I think sort of week 6. I think sort of was like week 6, 7 when they were on the 6th string O-line. They've had a couple of back-to-back losses, and we were sort of starting to say maybe they're not going to make the playoffs, and we were still thinking maybe the Chiefs could maybe still get there. And they've turned it around, and they've turned it into an amazing season with what they've got.
But it's like I said, though, like even if you're a 2nd string, 3rd string, 4th string, whatever string they're on at the moment, this is like the best opportunity to go, no, I'm going to play awesome all season, you're going to give me a contract. And I'm going to play that. If not, I'll play that good. You won't give me a contract with someone else. Do you know what I mean? Like that type of...
that's what you need in the league.
Yeah, no, 100%. Right, on to the next one. Giants 13, Vikings 16. 81% of the public backed the Chargers, by the way. Back to the Giants and the Vikings. 70% of the public and Steve backed the Vikings. Myself and Lee backed the Giants. Vikings won. We've got a great comment here. Chargers have made a way to make it work. They have, and it's the manner that they're doing it as well. I'm not really looking forward to that next game against them. But going back to this one, both teams have nothing to play for now. Am I right in saying? We know the Giants don't. And
the Vikings have somehow crawled into 7 wins, which I don't know how they've done that.
I know, I don't mean either. It's like they've sneaked up on it, isn't it?
When I was going through doing my picks, I was looking at the records, and I was like, hang on, when did the Vikings get to 7? I thought they were on about 4 or something. I think they've probably got a 0.1% chance of making it, but we can pretty much say they're not going to.
They're out.
Are they out?
Yeah, out. They're not even like eliminated on the fully out. On the NFC side, they're ranked 9th, but they're out. It says out, so I'm going to go off.
Yeah,
off the website.
I think it's the package draw that's holding them out. Actually,
it's mad, isn't it? It's mad. There's been this season's it's been so good as well. But it's been so interesting. Right, we've got everyone's. Lee, do you want to have a chat about this one? Do you want to? Was you wearing the Giants shirt? Was that why they got beat?
Yeah. I had Jackson Dart in my one of my fantasy leagues. Talking about the ones where I've just lost in the semi-final.
Yeah,
he was my quarterback in that league.
Yeah,
and he scored 0.5 points in that fantasy, and I kind of looked at it in the morning, and I was just like, what? That can't be right. And then I watched the game, and I was like, that's I don't know how. I don't think he had many completions. He got sacks, he got intercepted, he was playing absolutely dreadful. And Coach Ross saying there, people saying the Giants are purposely losing to get the number 1 pick. I don't think they need to purposely lose. I think they're going to generally get it anyway, especially with the results from the weekend. I think it's in the bag.
Are you trying to make Coach Rush punch drywall?
What, like Cam Scatterboot just head first?
Yeah, best 2-year career ever. Steve, did you watch this one, mate? I mean, it wasn't a game I wasn't particularly interested in because both teams were out.
I didn't, and it was very much like, I don't think they're purposely tanking. I think it's the Giants. They've lost sort of everything that was good to them. They've sort of not got anything going on. They're just coasting. Whereas again, the Vikings and JJ McCarthy keeps having good games every now and then. So that's the only reason I picked him. But I didn't. I had that as a terrible game, and it was a pretty bad game.
Yeah, it wasn't great. Let's move on to another terrible game. Dolphins
Sorry,
and Bengals.
Coach Russ has just said the only time I want the Raiders to win is next week, so the Giants get number 1.
Wow. What? No, Coach Russ, I'm deleting you off Facebook. In fact, I need to actually press that lock button this time. Jesus. Right, going on to another terrible game. Dolphins against the Bengals. 60% of the public backed the Dolphins, which flabbergasted me a bit, and myself, which I flabbergasted me too. You guys backed the Bengals as well as 40% of the public, and this was a bloody terrible game, 45-21. Steve, give league, Steve, anyone at this point.
I'll take the lead. I think that the Dolphins have got a massive crisis at quarterback.
Oh yeah,
and I think they're not near that sort of number 1 draft pick. They haven't got the luxury of picking a quarterback perhaps in the position that they're currently in the draft. They've gone to they put Tua to QB3. I think they've finally admitted that he's probably not the franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
Although they're still paying him a huge contract because he's still under contract with them. And I think they've got an identity issue right now. I don't think they know which direction they're going in. They've got some fantastic wide receivers. They've got decent tight end. Their defense isn't terrible, but yeah, they've got a lot of holes to fill in this next upcoming draft, I think.
Yeah, I completely agree. So I've seen a lot of reports with people discussing where Tua's going to go for next season. What I've not seen, surprisingly, is somehow Mike McDaniel seems to be stable within his position there, and I don't get how. He's got to have something on the owners at the Dolphins. You can't have this season and be able to keep your job.
No, I think he'll be one of the ones getting the chop at the end of the season, and I don't think it'll be too long before he gets re-employed as an offensive coordinator. He's a fantastic offensive mind. Is he a head coach? Maybe not. I think look at someone like Vic Fangio and the Eagles. He's a fantastic DC, but I think he realizes his sort of ceiling as a head coach isn't probably there. And I think Mike McDaniels is probably the same. He's going to be a fantastic OC, but to step up as head coach, I don't think he's that sort of caliber of a person.
Yeah.
I mean, you only have to, it's a great comment, that, Lee. You've mentioned your team, so I'll mention my team. Vance Joseph for the Broncos as a head coach was painful. Like, Steve, you think you're in pain because of your team? Oh, mate, it was worse. It was worse. And we've brought him back. He's there now as a DC. He's doing brilliant. But sometimes you got to go one step backwards to go 2 steps forwards, because every time I'm watching it, all I'm hearing is that he's been mentioned in this job, he's been mentioned in that job. So he's more likely learn from that experience. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, both teams had nothing to gain. Both teams were out. I will say this for the Bengals: what will be frustrating for them is someone was saying to me about the Broncos are the opposite of the Bengals. I was like, explain, and they were like, how many games have the Bengals lost in the last play of the game, whereas the Broncos are, vice versa. I was like, that's actually a bosh out, because the Bears, that touchdown that shouldn't have happened. Other games. So for me, the Bengals, I think it's a bit of tweaking, and he can maybe get it right for next season. But the Dolphins, they're all over the place. Right. Next up, we had our first 50-50. So 50% of the public backed the Panthers, 50% of the public backed the Buccaneers. And this is the first week I've picked against the Buccaneers. I think they've been poor. We all picked the Panthers, and the Panthers won 23-20. I don't know what's going on with the Bucs. They've still got a great chance of making the playoffs. But they've absolutely nosedived that ship. Celine Dion is singing "My Heart Will Go On," and then Pirates are not holding on. It's absolutely awful. Steve, did you watch this, mate? What are you thinking about the Panthers?
I'm really liking the Panthers. In the last couple of weeks, I've sort of started to decide I really want to see them in the playoffs. I think they are a good squad. They're one of those sort of surprising teams that turn up and just fight for the whole game. They've got. It's a lot of a young squad, but they're really good to watch. But the Buccaneers have been awful since we put Baker Mayfield on our power ranking at like week 8 or 9 or something. It's just been gone downhill since then. So you have us to thank. But for me, I think the Bucs are done. I don't think they're getting the playoffs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lee?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think, they're in they're in a rubbish division, really, aren't they? That NFC South isn't the most competitive division out there. Bryce Young has come out of this bye week, and he's hit the ground running, and he's showing up. It's also good the fact that he's got a really good running back and a wide receiver he can lean on. But just generally, even the defense, shoe up to that game, and picked off Baker Mayfield a couple of times, and it was just such a great game to watch. And home field advantage. I don't know. I saw quite a few Bucs fans in the stadium, but I think they definitely used it to their advantage and walked away with a win. And obviously, it's not over until it's over. There's still 2 more games left, and I think we'll be seeing both QBs on the field all the way up until week 18. To be fair,
interesting. I don't even know if we want to talk about the next game, but we're going to talk about it. Saints against the Jets. 70% of the public backed the Saints as well as Lee. Me and Steve backed the Jets. Why? I don't know. 29-6, the game finished. The Saints battered the Jets. The Jets are absolutely awful. I'm never backing them again.
I don't even know why either of us did. I think we were just like we've hated the uniform all year, so we've just been voting against.
Yeah, I think that was like my
the uniform
reason for
the uniform came back and shoe itself again this weekend as well. It's horrendous, absolutely horrendous. But Tyler Shook, he's showing up. He's showing up. He was obviously, he sat the first few games out through an injury. He is a rookie, and I think he's fighting for his spot. He really is fighting for that spot. And the way Kellen Moore has taken on that head coach role, and he brought back Taysom Hill, and he's slowly but surely turning that team around. And I think obviously they're not going to make the playoffs. They're not contending this year, but with a few added pieces to the roster for next year, I think we may see a new NFC South champion next year in the Saints, as long as they change that bloody uniform.
No, I agree. I think Tyler Shoe has definitely proven himself as the QB to go for in that team. He put up over 300 yards, and you've got to remember they don't have any of their top 3 running backs right now, so it is all on him at this point. The only actual stat of the week I've got so far is Taysom Hill became the first ever player with 1,000 passing yards, rushing yards, and receiving yards in a career.
Yeah, that's pretty unique. I don't think anyone else is going to be able to achieve that.
I've never seen such a gadget player in my life.
Imagine doing that as a Denver Bronco, wearing that beautiful kit instead of that atrocity. No. Let's get on to the next one. Okay. This was a brilliant game, and I didn't expect it to be. We all picked the Bills to beat the Browns, and 90% of the public did too. The other 10% misclicked the Browns by accident. But the Bills won 23-20. This was actually a much more competitive game than it should have been. We've got a comment here. Purdy would be your MVP front runner if he didn't miss 6 games. And that's by Dakota Miller, 1089. And you won't find a part of me potentially disagreeing with you because Bo Nix is going to win it. I'm joking. But back to this one. Yeah, it was a close. I didn't give it much attention at the start, but then later on, I did. Brilliant game. I'm going to go to Steve first on this one.
I'll be honest. So I thought this was going to be a complete blowout, and I was only watching this game because I was on Myles Garrett watch. I was waiting for him to break that record. He still needs one more sack to do it, and I think he'll do it this week, but we'll get there. But the Bills are just showing to me that, yes, they're going to be in the playoffs, but they're not going to get very far because they're not doing... They're doing enough, but again, when we spoke about it mid-season, they'd only beaten bad teams all the way through.
Yeah.
They're only just beating the Browns. Like, they're just not the Bills that we're used to.
No, absolutely not. And I on that Myles Garrett, sacks record that he's going for. I mean, he got awarded half a sack for a questionable half a sack, I would say at that. This was a scenario where Josh Allen was bailing, dropping back, trying to find someone to throw downfield. He ended up running into his own end zone, keeping the ball outside of the end zone. I can't remember who the defensive lineman was on the Browns, but it wasn't Myles Garrett. Got him down, and then Myles Garrett a second or so later touched his ankle, and they've given him half a sack for that. I think that's a bit soft. I think Myles would probably
Is he like the Harry Kane of American football? Remember that ball which went across Harry Kane's face and he claimed he touched it, and the camera showed it was like 2 inches off.
Yeah. It was. I think it was definitely like that. Somebody obviously upstairs who awards these sacks, was being generous, because obviously Myles Garrett's only half a sack away from coming joint sack record.
I play football with a lad called Keynesy. Thomas Keynes, his name is, and he got what you class as a half sack. In a game, I think it was against Humber, but it couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. Richly funny guy, but he was made up. We were made up for him, and then we were like, "It's not a full sack; it's a half sack." And you wonder if that wound you up, wouldn't it? No, it was a full sack, and like, but no, top guy. Look, there was a good comment last week by Steve's mate that the only reason he's getting this position is because their offense is that bad. He's never off the pitch. Bills ran most of the game, so Garrett couldn't get his record. Great comment.
It is true. Allen was getting rid of that ball in it looked like a second or so. It was just like he was terrified of being hit by Garrett all game.
Yeah, you don't want to be that. You don't want to be that record.
He wasn't good, so I don't think you want to get hit by Garrett, if I'm honest.
No, but I mean, it's
kind of like Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua.
I mean, it's coming down to that fairy tale scenario where Myles Garrett is potentially going to get this award against the Steelers, which is obviously a great sort of divisional rivalry.
42-year-old QB.
Yeah, exactly. He can't run for anything.
Stop. Yeah. Oh, right. Let's move on. Okay, Titans against the Chiefs. 66% of the public and Steve and Lee for some reason backed the Chiefs. I backed the Titans. It wasn't a great game. This I was kind of expecting it. I did say this, and it wasn't to try and upset anyone or just be that type of guy. Chiefs have nothing to play for. Chiefs are the team you want to get a win against. Titans turned up. Titans got the job done. I was told, and I quote, Chiefs' third team is better than Titans' first last week. No, it wasn't. Great win for the Titans, but it wasn't a great game. I'm going to go to Lee first on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I put it down as Gardner Minshew is still a fairly decent quarterback.
Yes, correct. Agree.
The fact that he's sustained an ACL injury, which is the same injury that Patrick Mahomes sustained the week before, is really unlucky. And then they had to go to their third string quarterback. And like you say, their third string team is not as good as the Titans' first team. And I think that showed. The whole game was planned around Gardner Minshew, and when you get your backup quarterback in there, it just all goes to toffee, I suppose, doesn't it? And I think fair play to the Titans. They overcame a really good Chiefs defense and managed to outscore them. So hats off to them. They're definitely not going to get that number 1 overall pick this year.
No. It was an awful game, and it just goes to show that people may be saying that Patrick Mahomes has been awful, but it just goes to show that he has been the only player on our team doing anything all season. Because
I seen a video where the O line were someone from your O line was just like, "This is not how we play. This is not our stand." He was going mental. So you start to ask the question: is the problems on the inside? You know what I mean? Not is it just being a bad season, because there's clearly something going on in the background there for them to. You weren't great last season, but you were very good. Obviously, you've got to be to get to the Super Bowl. But there was a lot of convincing performances last season.
Yeah, and again, I think again, most of last season was Patrick Mahomes using his legs and making stuff happen.
Yeah.
Whereas you don't get that with Gardner Minshew, you don't get that with this new backup. And what's funny is we don't have anyone in a practice squad, no QBs in our practice squad. So if our backup goes down in the next 2 weeks, we've got Noah Gray, who is a tight end, or Travis Kelce to play as quarterback. Now, I can't lie, kind of want to watch Travis Kelce at quarterback for the last 2 games. I think that would be incredible.
If that happens,
it doesn't matter what happens.
If that happens, we need to do a Deadpool on how many times they go to Taylor Swift.
Oh my god. But the only other thing I wanted to talk about in this game is, have we seen the news that we're moving stadiums?
Yes, I did see that.
Really? You're moving out of the Chiefs' kingdom? Oh wow, that's amazing.
It's so our lease runs out in 2030, and we obviously, for people who don't know, and not many people who do know, Kansas City is not in Kansas; it's in Missouri. Correct. So there's been a lot of conversations between the Kansas, I don't know what like officials, and the Missouri ones trying to compete to what they wanted to do. But the Chiefs wanted to build a dome so that we could have more events going on and we could apply to go into the Super Bowl and stuff like that. So it ended up going that the Kansas has offered us the most money and the best opportunity for it, and so it's agreed that we're going there. But it's going to be a shame to get rid of Arrowhead, but that gives me 4 years to get over there and visit the stadium.
Yes, Kelce did play quarterback in college.
That's why he's one of our 2 backups. That's why he's one of our 2 backups.
And he also played QB in high school as well. So he's got the experience. He's obviously just he got moved to tight end for a reason.
Yeah. The on the stadium thing though, I was having a conversation with a couple of my mates about this. It's proven that most teams who's in a dome don't really win many games when they're not at home. So the Rams were the last team who had a dome stadium to win the Super Bowl. And so you've got the element of, not only is it more exciting when it's snowing or windy or raining or whatever for us to watch, but you've got the home field advantage. So if by, say, 2040 or something, every single stadium was a dome and home field advantage is lost, how much do you think that's going to affect the game? Because you're not going to be going, oh no, we're going to the Windy City or we're going up to Buffalo in December, because it's not going to matter.
You know what? That home crowd advantage, because there's some crowds that are a bit meh. I was watching a video on the Broncos game. One of the good things on the weekend was the crowd didn't stop, and there was one play where the Jags, I don't think they heard a whistle or something like that go off. Like that, it'll be interesting to see how that works. And obviously, you want it to be in Kansas. If you do move again, you will be like worse than the Raiders, by the way, in terms of moving every other 20 years. But yeah, that home field advantage, it'll be interesting to see how quick your home fans settle into the new ground, what the ground's going to look like. A franchise like that, you're expecting a super stadium, not just a stadium, but a bloody super stadium.
Yeah. Yeah, but again, it's not like we're moving far, but so I don't think the crowd itself would change, but it's just going to be.
Yeah.
I just think the dome sort of ruins it. Like I said, like what happens when in a few years' time when we're not watching snow games anymore, or we're not watching bits of paper being flown around because it's too windy and no one can kick a ball. I think it's going to ruin it. Yeah, one of my
Talking of
mates said
teams that are
in indoor
moving.
sport.
Go on, Lee.
I was about to say, talking of other teams that are looking at moving is Chicago Bears. So they are openly looking into moving stadiums out of Soldier Field. However, they've been sort of stopped at every crossroads with the city of Chicago, and ownership are now looking at other states, especially sort of Indy. So
Wow.
the Chicago Bears may not be in Chicago much longer if they can't sort out the
That's crazy.
yeah.
It's
So
it sort of reminds me of, either of you seen the TV show Ballers with Dwayne The Rock Johnson on it?
yeah, I've seen that.
It's
Yeah,
the whole
No.
show is like, most of it he ends up, because he gets an injury playing American football, and he tries to move a franchise. It's about how the Raiders got to Vegas, basically, but it's a
yeah,
very
yeah. It is,
comedy, very 18+ show. But it just makes me think of that, just constantly just trying to find a way of moving a stadium.
Talking about awesome stadiums, let's move on to the next one. Broncos at home got beat by the Jags 34-20. All three of us backed the Broncos. However, only 40% of the public did, and they were wrong as well as all of us three. Yeah, wasn't a great day for the Broncos. The first convincing loss all season, and I'll take that at this point. And I'm going to give you a fact. Are you ready, Steve?
Yeah.
No team that every single Denver Broncos team that's won the Super Bowl has a loss in December of the season that they've won it.
Wow.
Take that. But no, it wasn't great. Jaguars look fantastic. They're a team that really needs a good season as well. But no, brilliant win for the Jags. I'm going to go to Steve. What were your thoughts on this one, apart from being very, very happy?
I was obviously very, very happy. But I think this is going to be the first time in 17 weeks that I'm going to turn around my opinion entirely and say maybe Lawrence is a good quarterback for that squad. And Coach Russ is agreeing, saying Lawrence was a machine. It was very good, and yeah, I like to be proven wrong, and Lawrence is doing that, and him and Cohen, maybe that's the coach he needed. But I did slowly start to pay attention to how they were beating you. And it was very good. They were basically getting all set up and getting their centre to start pointing, so all that was doing was giving everyone time to settle down and slightly put off your D line. And most of their snaps, there was no cadence from Lawrence. He was just stood waiting. And then as soon as the centre decided it was ready, he snapped it, which gave everyone enough time. And Lawrence plenty of time in that pocket before your D-line could get to him. And I think that was a very, very good design by them.
You won't find a part of me disagreeing, mate. Lee, what about you, mate? What did you think?
Yeah, it was an interesting watch. I was expecting more from the Broncos, if I'm honest. The Jags defense seemed to shut the Broncos down quite a lot. I mean, the first sort of the first quarter or so, it looked really, really good, really competitive, backwards and forwards. And
Then it did.
and then sort of second half, yeah, it just died off. And I know, how Broncos like to come back from behind and, show that they've got a winning mentality. But I think you can't do that in the postseason. You can't, it's great to get the win, the loss out of the way with now.
Mm-hmm.
But they've got to learn from this going into that postseason, I think.
Well, as it stands, Broncos are still top, 12-3. I do think that's a big wake-up call for the Broncos. It's done. Crack on to the next game. Simple as that. Right, and on that note, let's move on to our next game. And I've just realised I've done a boo-boo on the artwork. This has got a funny colour on it. Well, I do apologise, Steve. I will go on a choky for that one. Right, so the Cardinals against the Falcons. The Cardinals, myself and Lee backed the Cardinals to beat the Falcons. Steve backed the Falcons, and it wasn't a game I was really interested in. I think we said this last week as well. 26-19, and Falcons won. I'll be honest, it wasn't one I caught. There was other stuff for me to watch. Lee, what did you catch any of this one, mate? Did you, is it fair to say? Is it fair to say that there's some games where, at this point in the season, you're not really bothered about?
Yeah, I kind of tuned out of this game a little bit. You know, it's great to see Bijan Robinson going for over 2,000 yards this season. So he's crossed that sort of threshold. He's getting the ball in the air. He's running it on the ground. He's looking great. It's just a shame the rest of the team aren't looking great either. But I don't know. I don't know. Like I say, I wasn't really interested in this game. Steve, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. My only note was exactly the same thing. Robertson over 2,000 scrimmage yards, which is the most in the league. How would you be the Falcons with the player with the most scrimmage yards and just be that? Just boring. It's not very good at all. Like that's what did he need to fix next year? I don't even know at this point. Maybe try another quarterback. That seems to work for them.
Okay, should we move on to the next one?
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought this is a great game in terms of Raiders not giving up. But all three of us and 100% of the public backed the Texans to beat the Raiders, which was a surprise because there's that many Raiders fans. But 23-21, not a bad result considering how poor the Raiders have been. Texans still on track for that playoff spot. I think I was checking on the NFL site before. 97% chance of making the playoffs, which is crazy good.
I've got them. They make it this week, but we can go into that in a minute.
Okay. Steve, while you're talking, mate, carry on talking.
Yeah, I think the Texans just played down to the Raiders. I think that's all that happened this week. I think they just realised it doesn't really matter. It's the Raiders. But I did like seeing Genty getting 188 yards. It's sort of showing some of that college fire. Because he came into the season looking like he was going to be amazing and then sort of just went, I'm at the Raiders. Let's play like a Raider.
Fair.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what I was going to say. This was the Ashton Genty show. You know, he was rushing the ball. He had that fantastic reception down the field where I think he almost scored a touchdown. He looked the part in this game. And again, I think it's just one of those things. Let's hope he keeps it going into next season, and with a few more decent players around him, hopefully that team can build and progress.
Okay. Let's move on. This was a great game. I didn't think the Steelers would win, but they did. Steelers beat the Lions 29-24. 67% of the public backed the Lions to beat the Steelers. And I watched the highlights in this one. Fully good game. Are the Steelers starting to find a bit of form, bang on the right times? Is that a good question? To ask. I certainly think they are. I'm going to go to Lee on this one.
Do you know what this? I don't know if they've got it in them. Oh.
I don't think that, but I think
there we go.
A good run.
I think this is probably as far as they're going to go. I don't think they've got. I don't think they've got it in them to get into the. I suppose they are going to get to the playoffs, aren't they?
Yeah, they really are. They've got a.
They are in the first.
91% chance of making the playoffs.
Yeah, so I think they're going to make the playoffs. I just don't see them progressing that far down the road. To be fair, this was a bit of a scrappy game for me to watch. I don't know. I think the Lions were super unlucky towards the end. With the way that the final decision got made, and the ref just abruptly ending the game. I think that was a little unfair on the Lions. It looked like Jared Goff scooped to score it at the end, and the ref kind of said, no, there was offensive pass interference and there's no replay, and that is the end of the game.
Stupid, that.
What? It's just like, what? Yeah. You're not even going to give him another chance.
Could you imagine if that would have happened, because some fans are like, oh, the Chiefs back in the day, the Patriots, some people said the Eagles, to get ref help, they don't. But could you imagine if that had have happened against for one of them teams? It would be going mental. And the fact that clip hasn't gone mental. Who was the punching of the fan? Which game was that?
Oh, that was DK Metcalf. That was this game.
Yeah, that was already one of the first notes. DK could not get his head on straight. Even he missed balls that he would normally catch 99% of the time. He couldn't play. On that play, I have looked into it and watched replays and stuff, and it turns out it is the rule that if OPI happens at 0s on the clock, there is no replay. That's the end of the game. But I did spend ages looking into it, but it doesn't come up very often. And you see that Gainwell catch though. That was good football. Caught the ball, bounced off him, knew he wasn't touched, got up and ran, and everyone was going to like, we're going backwards, and he's just celebrating. He knew he'd scored. That was amazing.
Yeah.
But for me, the Steelers' defense won this. They worked out how the Lions play. They stopped the run, and you stop the run, which means that Jared Goff then can't do his play action, because the play action doesn't work if you've not got a successful run, because you're not fooling anyone. So they made them a one-dimensional team, which the Steelers just went in like, well, we'll just guard your wide receivers. Done. But the Steelers are awful in the fourth quarter, so I've got them making the wild card round, but I don't think they're getting out of it, because they're going to play 3 great quarters of football, and then they're going to put out some kids or something on the fourth. I don't know what they're doing. And then let someone come back to them like they did with the Lions.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up, we've got the Ravens against the Patriots. We all picked the Ravens. I feel like they've kind of fell off a cliff. They did so well for so long, obviously after the really poor start with not having the QB. But it was 28-24 to the Pats. 70% of the public again backing the Patriots. Really good win for the Patriots, I think. Anyone?
Lamar, the Lamar injury is huge. I think that's going to stop the Ravens. They're not going to win the division now. The Steelers have got this. But I did also want to say, as much as we are saying how much we love the Patriots and Drake May, do we know the quarterbacks they've actually beaten this season? I'm going to do it for you. They've beaten previously, because Lamar went down, Huntley, Dart, Burrow when he was having a bad time, Fields, Mayfield on his second loss in a row, Penix, Cam Ward, Gabriel, Rattler, Allen is a good one, Bryce, but this was in the beginning of the season where the Panthers weren't good, Rodgers, he's been on and off, and Tua. So are the Patriots a good team, or have they just got really lucky with who they've been playing?
We will find out. I think we'll find out on that.
No, I think this is the argument that everyone's having is look at who they play, look at the path they've had to get to where they are right now, and obviously that comes into fruition when they make the playoffs and they start playing teams like the Broncos, the Jags, the teams who are doing well consecutively, and we'll see how they stand, how they fare against the other teams, but.
It would be hilarious if the Jets beat them this weekend. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Let's get on to the last one. Colts against the 49ers. Colts were 7-1 at one point. I don't know what's happened. I really don't know what's happened. Lee, you picked the Colts. Myself and Steve, we picked the 49ers. I mean, look, I don't really talk about the 49ers enough, but they're 11-4. Like, they're doing brilliant. And I don't feel like we've given them nowhere near enough praise. Lee, I'm going to go to you in this one, mate. What were your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I mean, I've been pretty harsh on them with my power rankings as well. Keeping them outside the top 10, then just slipping them into the top 10. Last week and the week before, and like you say, I think the problem with the Niners is they've got 2 other fantastic teams in their division with the Seahawks and the Rams.
Yeah,
and I think that's why they're getting overlooked here. They've been riddled with injuries, with Purdy out for a number of weeks, with Kittle was out for a couple of weeks. Some of their star wide receivers, Ricky Pearsall, all these guys were just never fully healthy all at the same time, and now they're back. I think are they a sneaky team to run through the draft? They're going to get the wild card spot. They've got a better score, a better better score than the Eagles at the moment, and well, certainly the NFC South, whoever gets out of that league.
They've qualified, mate.
Yeah, they qualified.
Yeah, I was about to say 3 teams in the NFC West.
It's mad. It's mad.
We got the wrong West. We were saying 3 teams from the West we were going to get in. We got the wrong one.
Mad. I mean, for me, so just so we're, in fact, Steve, you do your bit, because then I want to go into this bit.
Yeah, no, for me, it's just I was anyone surprised? The Colts have been off for a while. This is Purdy's first career 5 touchdown game. Rivers had a good game, and I'm quite enjoying this random Rivers cameo, but other than that, that's about it. And Coach Russ is saying the 49ers have crept below the radar and now a contender, which they are. They're starting to get their squad back. They're getting back and healthy and just doing it in silence, not really shouting about it. And then suddenly they're in the playoffs, and it's like, oh, now this is actually a team to be scared of. Although I do want to say they scored 48 points. They could have got one more. Would have been nice for 49ers to put up 49 points somehow.
I mean, you've got to remember as well, Bosa's out, Fred Warner's out, that's two sort of key people on their defensive side of the ball. Yet they're still where they're at right now. I mean, Kyle Shanahan's doing an amazing job with his team, regardless of the amount of injuries that he's sustained throughout the season. So absolutely mind-boggling how he's doing it.
Well, that was week 16. That was a brilliant week of football. Some great games, some poor games. I want to now talk just quickly before we go into these power rankings. So there's the playoff spots that have been clinched so far. So in AFC, you've got the Broncos top, Patriots, Jags, Chargers, Bills. In the hunt, you've got the Steelers and the Texans, both projected a 90% chance of making it. On the bubble, you've got the Colts and Ravens. I don't think any of the Colts or the Ravens are going to make the playoffs. Moving on to the NFC, you've got the Seahawks top, brilliant, well deserved. You've got the Bears, the Eagles, some really good wins, very much needed wins as well. 49ers and the Rams who've qualified. In the hunt, you've got the Panthers on 43%. Then you've got the Packers on 93%. The Lions are on the bubble with a 7% chance, and then the Buccaneers with a 57% chance. It's going to be a really good end to the season. But what we're now going to do, folks, is we're going to go through Lee's power rankings. Lee, do you want to tell us them starting from 10 to 1 or 1 to 10?
Yeah, let's go 10 to 1. That's how I like to go through things. So 10
in
to 1.
10.
So, at number 10, we got the Texans, the Houston Texans coming in at number 10. I think their last game against the Raiders kind of dropped them down in my power rankings a little bit. I still think obviously they're in contention to getting that into the playoffs. I just think it was a bit of a shaky game against the
It wasn't
Raiders.
a convincing game. However,
no,
as a Bronco, and how many times we've done that, I would say win's a win.
A win is a win, absolutely. But I think that just took them out of I did dropped him down a couple of spots.
Yeah.
In number 9, my Philadelphia Eagles have slipped back up. They've beaten the Washington Commanders now, and they've secured their
Redskins.
Ideally, they've secured their position back into the playoffs. So they've crept it back into my top 10 power rankings. Number 8 is the 49ers. Now, I think, personally, I'd like to see them higher, but, I'm looking at the teams who are above them, and there is some fantastic teams out there at the moment, as is number 7, the Jacksonville Jaguars, who arguably should be higher, but again, the teams who are above them are really hard.
I do agree. I'm not going to. In fact, I'll do this at the end.
And then in number 6, we've got the Chicago Bears. Again, kind of kicked the Packers out of the top 10. Done really well, and moving up. Patriots coming in number 5, with the Bills just above them in number 4. Number 3 is the Denver Broncos, who dropped down one spot after their loss against the Jags, leaving the Seattle Seahawks at number 2 and the LA Rams at number 1. Right. I've done that for a reason. I think the Rams are still the better team. Although the Seahawks have just beaten the Rams did beat the Seahawks back in their own stadium as well. So it's not the power standings, it's the power rankings. And I think when we come to the the postseason, I think the Rams are going to still make potentially still make the Super Bowl.
Right. My only thing I'd say is I would have the Seahawks top after that win. I get your comment, mate. I really do, and I love these power rankings. I think they're brilliant. I would have it Seahawks, Jags,
The Jags at number
Rams.
2.
They just beat the top team in the division. Seahawks, Jags, Rams, Broncos. I'd have the Bears, Bills, Pats, 49ers, Eagles, Texans. So
Okay.
I agree on the teams that you've got in the top 10.
Yeah,
It's
just not in the right
just
order.
positioning. But I get why you're doing it. I think again, it's a brilliant season.
It is so hard. I mean, it's so competitive this year. I can't remember a year like it when you've got this many teams in the top 10 who are absolutely balling.
Oh, let me just check something dead quick. 1 second. I want to see the NFL power rankings so we can kind of compare it to that. Do you get what I mean? I'm so glad I've just muted them comments. If you put a really interesting comment or a productive comment, I'll happily display the comment. We've got people commenting mental things saying football is better. This is football. If you don't like it, don't watch it. Honest to God. It's like
Well, actually, looking at it, for me, the only thing I would really move, I'd have the Bills and the Pats lower. And like I said, I don't think the Bills are going to get very far. Patriots haven't.
I put the Bills lower. I agree. Right. So the NFL power rankings is Seahawks, Pats, Bills, Broncos, Jags, Bears, 49ers, Rams. 8th.
What?
Yeah. This is the NFL. Chargers 9th, Texans 10th, Eagles 11th, Packers 12th, Steelers 13, Panthers 14, Lions 15, Ravens 16, Colts 17, Bucks 18, Vikings 19. We're not even at the Chiefs yet. Cowboys 20, Chiefs 21. I'm not going any further. That is mental. How much this?
How do we get to 21? Are we more intelligent than the NFL as pundits?
I think we are.
I don't understand how they handle that.
No, my wife will say definitely not with me. Right, look, we're an hour into this, so I think the best thing we can do now, gents, is week 17. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
I'm ready.
Let's do it. Okay. So Thursday night game, Christmas. There's a lot. Oh God, there's quite a few on Christmas. Brilliant.
We've not mentioned Christmas yet.
Oh, do you know what? Let's stop. Let's do that. What are you all doing for Christmas?
I'm spending it with obviously my family. Kind of waking up here at home and then going to go off to my sister-in-law's, and I'm going to her house to cook dinner.
That's too much work already, mate. That's too much work.
The thing is, I'm the chef in this house, and people kind of rely on me to cook.
Singing chef.
Yeah, singing chef, acting. There's nothing I can't do, really.
And so humble too.
And so humble, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, I'm just all about spending it with the family, enjoying it. Yeah. What about you? What about yourself, Steve?
Originally, I was just going to sit at home and watch the NFL because that's what I do every year. Not going to sub stories or whatever. That's what I normally do. But I've looked at the games and the people playing, and I can't be bothered. So I think I'm going to go to my nan's, or my mate and my goddaughter have invited me around. So I might go around there and spend a day there.
I'm going to keep mine very simple. I'm going to get drunk.
Yeah, I knew that was coming there. Just get wasted.
I'm going to get very drunk. I'm going to drink one for Steve, one for Lee, one for me, one for Coach Russ. Who else have we got on here? One for Anne Colony, one for Patrick Kelly, another one for Coach Russ, another one for Coach Russ. I'll tell you what I'll do, boys. I'll put my first drink. You know, like that thing where you go, this is my first drink, this is my second drink. I'll put them in a group chat because I'm going to my dad's for breakfast. My wife is driving, so I'm going to be drinking before. I'm going to be drinking before I've even gone for breakfast. I might even leave a can on the side of the bed, so when I get up in the morning. Let's move on to
Just
week.
reverse Santa.
Let's move on
Wow.
to week 7. Oh, and I've obviously got to finish my walk. Is the Grinch again? Let's move on to week 17. Commanders Cowboys. I don't care about this game. It is a really poor game considering both teams are already out. So I'm going to be going for Cowboys. Lee.
Yeah, I think with the injury of Mariota, I think it's going to be the Cowboys win this game.
Hang on, we've got a comment to display. Why is it not working? There you go. Beers. Yes, me.
Bears.
Steve.
Yeah, I agree. I've gone for the Cowboys. The Commanders aren't really looking like anything, but I do love a late Cowboys just doing some random nonsense. Do you remember, like, was it last year or the year before where they decided to snap the ball to just Ezekiel Elliott and just have everyone out wide?
Yeah, that was about 2 years ago. That one, wasn't
I was just like, what are you doing?
No. Vikings versus Lions. I am going to be going for the Lions. Steve.
Ditto. No, Steve.
Sorry, mate.
Yeah, I'm going to the Lions here.
Okay,
Yeah,
Lee.
I've gone Lions as well. I don't think
Now
they've got a chance.
I have a challenge for you, Steve. I want you to forget what team you support. You're a neutral fan at this point. Chiefs Broncos. I'm going to be picking the Broncos. Lee, who are you picking?
Yeah, I don't think there's much competition here. It's going to be the Broncos.
Can you do it, Steve? Steve, who are you picking?
I have already picked the Broncos. However, I do want to watch Travis Kelce become quarterback and win by accident.
That would be hilarious, by the way. I'd never hear the end of it. Oh my god. Right.
But no, I am going Broncos, yeah.
Sam.
I'm not dumb.
The next game I feel like it's gonna be a belter. Chargers Texans. I'm picking the Texans.
Yeah. Are you? Oh.
I'm
going to go Chargers on this one. I think
it's going to be a banging game, this, mate.
Yeah, this is going to be good.
And it's a Saturday night game as well. For us, I like that. By the way, I think they should do more than that. Like, Thursday night games, Friday night games, Saturday. They need to do that more, not just towards the latter end of the season or the holiday aspect of it. So, Steve, who are you going for?
So for me, I think this is going to be one of the games of the weeks. It's going to be offense versus defense.
Yes,
but I think defense wins. Chargers are already in. Texans need to just prove they're in. I think the Texans do it.
Okay, so I think Texans do it, and then that would secure it for the Broncos. Am I
right? No, because the Jags can get the first.
No, I mean the division.
Yeah.
Yes.
Next up, we've got the Packers against the Ravens. I think the Ravens are all but out, and I'm going for the Packers on this one. Steve?
I originally picked the Ravens until I realised the extent of Lamar's injury and the fact they're not coming in, so I am just going to switch to the Packers because the Packers do still have to clinch their spot, and the Ravens without Lamar have just been nothing all season, so I did a little switcheroo there.
Okay. Not I used to do that,
is it? Clean sweep with the Packers with me as well.
Okay. Dolphins, Buccaneers. That's it. There's nothing else. The first string QBs now that was the main QB. Lee?
Yeah, I've gone Buccaneers on this one as well.
Steve?
I've also gone Buccaneers, but if they do lose, then that's their season over.
Yeah.
But I am picking the Buccaneers. I don't know.
I genuinely think one of us is going to get them all right this week, boys. I've got a feeling. And it's me. Anyway, next up, we've got the Jets against the Pats. Easy win for the Pats, but I would absolutely cry laughing if the Jets somehow did it and just be like, that's this season written all over. Steve?
Yeah, Pats are going to sweep them, but I completely agree. I would love to see it. I would love to be proven right in the sense that they're not actually that great, but the Jets aren't good enough to prove us that right yet.
Okay. Lee?
Yep, Pats for me, and I think by the third quarter, they will have their second string team out against the Jets.
Yeah.
Mad. Browns, Steelers. I actually thought a bit about this one, just because of that game last week. I think it could go either way. I am going to go for the Steelers, but I wouldn't be surprised to be wrong here, especially with the Browns defense. Lately, I'll go to you first on this one, mate.
I think it's just one of those things, isn't it? Steelers just keep on winning, and it is the Browns. Although I do think, I think that sack record's going to get broken in this game. I don't think that's going to be enough to stop Aaron Rodgers winning against the Browns.
Okay, Steve.
I almost changed my mind again on a second there, but no. So I am going Steelers, but I think, as I've said, the Steelers are a terrible team in the fourth quarter. Shadur Sanders has been wild, but the sack record's getting broken because Aaron Rodgers. I could reckon this sack record's going to come out 23.5. I reckon he's going to absolutely destroy it, not just get hit it.
Okay. Colts versus Jags. I find it impossible not to pick the Jags at this point, so I'm going to go Jags. Steve, who are you backing here, mate?
Yeah, Jags. Again, I like watching this 45-year-old man playing ball, but it's not good enough for this Colts squad.
Okay, Lee?
Yeah, I think common sense prevails on this one. It's going to be the Jags game to win.
Okay. Next up, Titans against the Saints. I'm going to go for the Titans on this one. Great win for them last week. They'll be trying to find some form going into the off season. It's not a game I'm not interested in at all. And if Saints wear that kit, I might throw something at my TV. Lee, who are you backing here? Titans.
I'm going to back the Saints. I think they're on a bit of a streak at the moment. I think they're going to just topple them over.
Okay, Steve.
This was a game I was sort of on the fence for the entire time. I am going for the Titans, but I think it's going to be a really low scoring, maybe just mostly field goals and one touchdown game.
Okay. Next up, we got the Panthers Seahawks. Steve, who are you going for here, mate?
Seahawks, but I think it's going to be close. But the Seahawks need to close and finish off the first seed.
Okay, Lee.
Yep, I'm agreeing with that. Seahawks.
I'm going for the Panthers.
Ooh,
that's not a crazy pick. I did. Again,
how many times this year have Panthers beat the team that should have spanked them everywhere?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It's gonna happen again. It's just something they do. Don't ask me why. It's happened a few times. That's that. Bengals Chargers. Bengals Chargers. Bengals Cardinals. A game no one's really interested in. I'll go for the Cardinals. Lee.
I'm gonna go Bengals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Steve.
I'm going for the Bengals as well. The Cardinals they're one of those teams that I've said they have given up and they're not trying.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can put Joe Burrow on the bench. I think he's going to make himself stay out there and keep going. So
okay. Raiders Giants. Giants. Lee.
I'll go Raiders.
Steve.
I'm going to preface this match before I choose. This is the toilet bowl, not the Super Bowl. This is the toilet bowl. The winner of this game gets number one. The winner of this game doesn't get number one pick, but I am going Giants to win the toilet bowl. So the Raiders are going to be the number one pick of the draft.
Okay, Coach Russ, Raiders. Oh my God, you're vile. You're vile. Disgusting.
You don't want to lose the toilet bowl, man.
Who's in the toilet bowl? Right, anyway. Bills, Eagles. I'm going to go for the Eagles in this one. I just think Eagles will be better on the day. Steve?
For some reason, I've picked the Bills, even though I've been slating them off all episode. I'm going to stick to it, but yeah, I don't know. This is going to be one of those games, I think. Is it at home? Are the Bills at home?
Bills are at home.
That's why I chose
Bills are at home, mate, yeah.
Yeah, so a bit of a snow game. I think that's why I sort of went that way.
Okay.
Yeah, in all honesty, I struggled with this one as well. I think that home field advantage.
Whoa! I'm getting Steve not picking his team. Is it going to be 2 out of 2? Who are you going for?
I'm going Eagles.
Oh my God! I mean, look, you're agreeing with me. Steve's new nickname is a twist.
My head's saying it's going to be the Bills, but my heart can't go away.
I was getting ready to start shouting, "We can't hear you!"
Right, listen. Oh no, you didn't. Listen, Eagles. I'm telling you now, Eagles are going to spank them.
You reckon? I hope so.
This is statement week. Spank the Bills. Put a big statement for them to be in the playoff. Well, they're obviously in the playoffs, but like to perform well in the playoffs.
Yeah.
49ers, Bears. This could be a game of the week, this one. I'm going for the Bears. I've said previously that I think they're brilliant. I think they're absolutely brilliant. Lee, who are you backing here, the Bears or the 49ers? Back who you think will win, not who you want to win.
Who I think is going to win is going to be the 49ers.
Okay.
I really do. I think their defense is coming alive just at the right time. Their offense is clicking. You know, like Coach Ross said, Kittle's having a few games at the moment, and I think they're going to just get it. It's going to be tight, real tight.
Steve?
Yeah, I'm going 49ers.
Yeah,
as I said, most of the Bears wins have been in the fourth quarter. The 49ers defense, as Lee has just said, is good, and I think the 49ers are going to put up too many points and not give the Bears a chance to do that fourth quarter comeback.
Okay. Falcons and Rams. Lee.
Do we have to do this? I mean, I think we could all say it on 3, really, couldn't we?
Okay.
It's going to be
You do the countdown.
Right. 3, 2, 1.
Falcons.
Rams.
Shut your face. What are you doing?
But Thursday night games, anything is possible, mate. Thursday night games.
I love that you said that the Rams were number 1 in your eyes.
I go against myself all the time, mate, don't I? Listen, Thursday night football, anything can happen. There can be a crazy amount of wind, as we've seen in the Broncos game. Listen, don't ask me, mate. I get these feelings, and sometimes they happen. Look how many times I predicted it with the Panthers, and you know, I was getting called all sorts last week when I picked the Titans to beat the Chiefs. Don't ask me why. I just think it, and that's week 17, folks.
Wow.
That's also the last show of the year. Thank you to everyone that's watched, to every guest that's tuned in. Obviously, we'll be back January the 1st, New Year's Eve. I know we've asked Christmas plans, gents. Have we got any New Year's Eve plans? I'm going to start first. I'm going to get very, very drunk. I'm going to order.
Are you going to be sober in between at any point?
No. To be fair, we're going to order an Indian. We have this really nice Indian near us, so we're going to order food, and I'm going to get really, really drunk. And I'm going to have a shot for Steve, a shot for Lee, a shot for Coach Russ, another one for Coach Russ, another one for the Raiders, apparently. Yeah.
One for Cameron.
Yeah. Definitely one for Cameron. Lee, what are you up to, mate? Anything nice?
Yeah, I mean, New Year's Eve is the time where I just drink bottles of spirits and get really, really drunk. So, yeah, I think Coach Ross is right there. Mateo, start drinking early. Get on it. Have you all finished for work now? Are you?
Oh, I'm in tomorrow, 11 till 2, and then I'm doing my last 6Ks, the Grinch, and then I've been booked to go scare a bunch of kids at a party. So I've got to go. Do you not see the video? Oh, mate, look, we are going to finish very shortly, folks. But someone donated to the charity that I'm fundraising for if I would come in and like ruin the Christmas tree and, you know, like throw food and all that. So I've ran into this house. I've pulled 2 kids off the sofa. I've flipped the Christmas tree. I'm grabbing crisps and sweets and throwing them at kids and all sorts. And then I've grabbed this kid's phone. I've ran off of the phone and everything, but I've literally wrecked the house. And mate, that could be a new career.
And they paid you to do that,
bro. I've done that 4 times this week. And I
want to do it.
I've got booked on Christmas Eve, so I'm doing that on Christmas Eve. So Christmas Eve, when you sat there about 5 o'clock, thinking, I wonder what Mateo's doing. I'm wrecking a house. I'm throwing a Christmas tree down. I'm doing a Shawn Michaels elbow drop on empty Christmas boxes that the kids think are their toys. I even got booked in for a dementia care home, and if this show wasn't PG,
Christ.
you'd laugh your head off for what some of the stuff was tough. Do you know what? It's all for a good cause. It's all for a good cause.
Absolutely.
Steve, are you doing anything, mate?
Yeah, so going out with a few mates, my girlfriend and my mates, and me and my mates are all going out, and I'm gonna accidentally make sure we all go to the metal club, which otherwise I'm not going out anywhere else. So we're gonna go headbang, dressed in suits is my plan.
80s bars for me, mate. 80s bars or karaoke. Right, folks. Listen. Yes. Again, we wish you all a happy new year. We hope you all get what you want. Unless you're a Raiders fan, and we hope you get absolutely nothing.
More coal.
More coal, yes. Again, thank you so much. We will see you January 1st next year. Like that meme when someone says see you next year and the kids laughing eating the apple. Anyway, thank you all so much. We will see you next year. Make sure you're locking them fantasy football picks. If you're in the final, I'm in one. Good luck. Unless you're a Raiders fan, I hope you get beat. I've been Matteo.
I've been Steve.
And I've been Lee.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Have a happy